Okay, let's get started. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Tutor Ready Writing Videos. I'm Zara, the Education and Training Coordinator here at FLC, and this webinar is hosted by Florida Literacy Coalition and was made possible through the support of the Florida Department of Health. Before we get started, I just want to go over some technical things. If you all look down, you will see your chat box at the bottom of your screen. You can use that to ask any questions you may have during the webinar. I will message you privately if it's technical questions, and if it's any questions for Kathy regarding the webinar, I will read them to her aloud and she can answer you out loud. So now that we have technical things out of the way, I'd like to introduce you to our speaker, Kathy. Kathy has worked in adult literacy and ESL since 1989. She's a national trainer for the U.S. Department of Education's LINKS. Kathy teaches ESL classes for partners in reading at the San Jose Public Library and facilitates in-person and online workshops on a variety of topics, including reading, writing, and learning disabilities. She has been a main contributor and project manager for several federally funded statewide projects in California, including the Tutor Ready Writing and Reading Videos Project and the Sacramento Public Library's Adult New Reader Project. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Kathy.
Oh, thank you, Zara. Appreciate being here. It's always fun to work with the Florida Literacy Coalition folks. So thank you so much for inviting me. And thank you, everybody. I know how busy you are, and I am so excited to talk about the videos today. They were produced a couple years ago, and they've been very, very well received in California. And so I'm very happy to introduce them to you today. So first of all, I must thank our funder for the project. So the project was supported by the U.S. Institute of Museum and Library Services under the provisions of the Library Services and Technology Act administered in California by the state librarian. I have to read that verbatim each time. That was part of the funding. So we're going to do a bunch today. So first of all, we're going to talk a little bit about you, and that will help me know where you are in terms of teaching writing. And then I'll be introducing you to the project, the Tutor Ready Writing Video Project. Then we'll watch a sample video, and then we'll talk about ways that you can use Tutor Ready Writing videos in your own programs. Okay. And, oops, so sorry. And so we're going to do a poll, and Zara's going to help me with that. So in what setting do you tutor or teach? How many of you work one-to-one with adult learner? How many work with learners in small groups? And how many in classes? All right. Oh. Interesting. So it looks like one-to-one tutoring is the majority, but we have some other folks as well. Okay. Right. We have a couple, we're waiting for a couple more people, but maybe they've decided they don't want to answer this. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. That's very interesting. Okay. All right. And then let's see. Okay. Can everybody see the results?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Roughly 2/3, 1-to-1.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. And whoops. And then we have the second poll, which is, what is your experience teaching writing? So are you currently teaching somebody writing? Are you working on improving your learners' writing skills? Have you done it in the past? or you haven't done this yet. This is entirely new to you. Okay. Looks like currently teaching and have taught writing in the past, or neck and neck. All right. And we do have some folks who haven't taught writing. So this is terrific. I'm so glad that you're here with us today, because I think this is a fabulous resource for you. There's nothing like seeing somebody demonstrate strategies to help you know how to do it yourself. So, all right. Well, I think we have 92%, which is great. And so, yeah, it's 34% currently teaching, 34% taught writing in the past, and 32% that haven't taught writing yet. That is so interesting. So just completely evenly spread. So excellent. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Very, very helpful. All right. So why did we make these videos? So, oh gosh, maybe six or 7 years ago, we had actually worked on a reading video project, and those videos were so well received. And when we were presenting them at conferences and webinars and workshops, everyone in the field said, these are great. And you know what? We really need the same resource for writing, for teaching writing. We just, that's even harder, many people think, than teaching reading. And so we really responded to the need that folks in the field communicated. And so they said, we need appropriate materials. We need support right now, right when we, not in 6 weeks or 6 months, but right now as we're teaching a particular strategy or working with a particular task. And so, and then programs said, we don't know how to support our tutors, our teachers, our instructors, because we don't have the resources. We don't necessarily have the knowledge to do this either. And so we thought, okay, we're going to create a resource that is for instructors as well as program staff. And so the answers were these videos. So it's easy access. They're available to you 24/7. They're free. I'll talk later. You can find them on YouTube in about 4 different places. And they're just terrific professional development resources for adult literacy, ESOL tutors, teachers, program staff, and we'll talk even for learners themselves. So let me tell you a little bit about each one. So they are, of course, free. Everything that we do is free, and they are specifically designed for adult literacy and ESOL tutoring and teaching. When we looked out and saw what was in the field and available already, there were some things available for teaching kids or teaching adolescents, but very, very little to no resources for teaching adults. And so we decided that we would develop this for volunteer tutors and teachers and program staff to learn more about teaching effective research-based writing strategies. And so everything that I've been doing the past maybe 2 decades has needed to be research-based, because I've been a links trainer, and we want to make sure, we all have a gut feeling, especially if we're experienced instructors, about what's working for our learners. But it's always nice to know that, yeah, research is backing up my own instincts and my own experience. So everything is research-based. And our project team was quite wonderful. And so we had subject matter experts from Kent State University, Portland State University, Literacy Works, which is an adult literacy nonprofit in California, and just a ton of experienced practitioners. And this was a federally funded program through the state library in California. So at the end of each video, there are tips for working with learners of different levels and learners who are pre-literate in their native languages. So we realize that the videos are demonstrating a strategy with one level learner. And so we wanted the videos to be more versatile. We wanted everybody to be able to use the strategies with their own learners, no matter what level they are. And so at the end of each video, you'll see tips that show you exactly how to do that. And then we also want you to know what the research-based resources are that we used to support the foundation of the strategies in each video. So that's also at the end of each video. And then there is a link to the documents that the tutors and learners used in the lesson. So if they were using a poem or an image of some sort, we wanted you to be able to access those resources as well. Okay. So we were trying to do a lot in these videos. We didn't just want to demonstrate the best practices in teaching writing. We also wanted to do some other things. So we wanted to show that the best practice really is explicitly teaching one strategy at a time. Quite often, as instructors, there is so much to do and so much that our learners want to learn and so much that we want to teach that we can overwhelm learners and we can try to do too much at once. And so it's really, really important, especially with teaching writing, to focus on one strategy. And so you're not overwhelming the learner. We also wanted to model having learners evaluate the strategy and how they felt about using the strategy. And some of the videos, you'll see that the learners, loved the strategy, and some they weren't, quite sure about the strategy. And so there's some nice discussion about that. And so that reflection piece we feel is very, very, very important in any instructional lesson, that at the end you always check in with the learner to say, how was that for you? What worked well? What didn't work as well? And what would you like to do more of? What do you think you really, maybe wasn't so helpful and you wouldn't like to do? So you'll see that modeled in each of the videos. And then I think we all know that rapport and the relationship is so important, right? If your learners are not feeling comfortable and relaxed, and if learning isn't fun, if it's an onerous task that they don't look forward to each time, then the learning is not really going to happen certainly as quickly or as effectively as it could. And so we also, when we were working with real life learners and tutors in two different California programs, and actually we do have some videos that were made in Ohio as well, because our timing was poor. And our last set of videos was scheduled to be filmed right when the pandemic shutdown happened. And so California was being very, very prudent, and they would not allow us to gather, even to do small filming. And so we actually shifted gears, and one of our project team members was in Ohio. And so we do have some Ohio learners and tutors as well. But so we chose those learners and tutors because they had a relationship and a rapport that we just thought was really wonderful. And as models, we think everybody should strive for. So you will see that the videos have learners working one-to-one with a tutor, but you can also use these strategies for the writing strategies that are showcased, working with small groups of learners, whole classes, Also, they are for low-level literacy students, intermediate level, advanced, GED, and ESOL students. So they really run the gamut. And so the videos are organized. You know, when we did the writing videos, it was super easy to decide how to organize them because there are 4 components of reading. And so that's how we organize them. But writing is messy, right? Writing is iterative. You plan, and then you write, and then you plan some more, and you revise, and you discuss. And so the organization was trickier for us. And so this is where we landed. The first video is on the writing process, which we think is very important, not only for instructors to understand, but also for learners to understand. And then we had a series of pre-writing videos, getting ideas on the page, drafting. And then we also thought, you know, many of the learners that we've worked with over the years say, I don't need to write. Why do I need to write? You know what? I don't write in my everyday life. And so we wanted to address that concern and that misconception. And so one of the videos that you'll see, or the video that you will see today, is an example of that. How can you make sure that your learners know, you know, this is a very practical skill that most people use every day. And then, while we don't want to emphasize the mechanics of writing as opposed to getting ideas on the page and really, you know, communicating your ideas, there certainly is a place in writing for spelling and grammar. So we did want to address that as well. And that is, those videos came at the end of the project. And so we were not able to work with learners because of the pandemic. And so that video is a conversation between 2 experienced tutors. So you all know in adult literacy and ESOL, you have to pivot sometimes very, very dramatically and very spontaneously. And so some of those needs to pivot are also reflected in these videos. And then, of course, responding. How do you provide constructive feedback to a learner's writing is certainly covered, and then revising, and the difference between revising and editing. And so we have a video on editing. And then how do you assess writing progress? You know, how do you show that demonstrable progress over time? And then Kathy Harris from Portland State University, her particular expertise is in working with adult learners who are not literate in any language. And so she has a wonderful series of videos for those learners. Okay, so these are available again for free on YouTube. You will be receiving a handout that shows you very different ways of accessing those videos. And as part of our project for the state library, we needed to make sure that these videos were actually doing what we wanted them to do. And so we did some focus groups with some volunteer tutors in California. And what we discovered was that the tutors really liked the fact that we used real tutors and learners to demonstrate the strategies. They had seen some other videos where there were actors and they didn't feel genuine. And so they really liked that these were, you know, things go wrong in the videos, right? And things aren't perfect because they're real life people. And the people who viewed them found the videos to be very relevant to their own teaching and very easy to use. And they also found that they could put into practice immediately what they saw demonstrated in the videos. So what we're going to do now is Zara is going, or I think I'm going to play it because I think my sound quality might be better. So we're going to watch a sample video. And as you watch, I'd like you to I know these are a lot of points, but please be sort of looking at the video through this lens. So what is the strategy that is being worked on? how is the tutor teaching the strategy, right? What method, what is the approach that the tutor takes? And then what is the learner's response to learning the strategy? And then again, look at that relationship. How are the learner and the tutor interacting together? And then there's that reflection piece. And so what do you think about how useful is that reflection piece? And then how could you use this strategy in a small group or a classroom? Okay, so give me a minute here. I have to shift gears. All right, can everybody see a blank screen?
Kathy, we can't see it. Do you want me to try sharing it?
Oh, you can't see it. Okay, so sorry.
Many tutors wonder how much writing practice
One
they should
sec.
ask their learner to do during their tutoring sessions.
Oopsie. Thank you for telling me that, Zara. Let's try again. Good now?
Many tutors wonder how much writing practice they should ask their learner to do during their tutoring sessions and for home practice. They might struggle to find interesting writing activities that are immediately relevant and meaningful to their learners' lives and at their skill level. Some learners resist working on writing, preferring to focus on reading activities. Some say they don't need or want to write in their everyday lives. Others believe they have nothing to write about. Writing is useful for many reasons. Most people write every day for practical and commonplace purposes. We use writing in our family, work, and community lives, as well as for our own individual interests and needs. It can be helpful for tutors to introduce learners to activities that not only help them build their writing skills, but also make their lives easier. Experienced writers know that the best way to improve their writing is to write. In the case of writing, practice really does make perfect. Writing practice is especially effective when someone provides immediate feedback and guidance, as tutors are able to do in tutoring sessions. The best way for learners to improve their writing skills is to have the opportunity to practice writing and receive feedback on it in every tutoring session. In this video, you'll see a tutor and learner working on meaningful, real-life writing activities that relate directly to their learner's life and that they can use immediately. In Chapter 1, you'll see the tutor and learner discuss the purpose of writing down what the learner wants to say during a call to a doctor's office. In Chapter 2, you'll see them write a draft from lists they create of the topics the learner wants to cover during the call. In Chapter 3, you'll see the learner use the draft as a script to practice the call. You'll see how the learner and tutor revise the draft after the learner reads it aloud and identifies changes that need to be made. In Chapter 4, you'll see the tutor and learner review what they worked on and evaluate the strategy of writing a script as preparation for an important telephone call.
Well, good morning, Hyunji.
Good morning, Diane.
I gather that your daughter's not feeling any better after all this time.
Yeah, it's past a week. Still, she has high fever, so I think I have to call in doctor.
Okay, and you mentioned that you wanted to plan that conversation before you actually call.
Yeah, I need that.
So-
I need to make a list.
We're going to practice writing by making that list for you.
Okay.
So what do you need to tell the doctor? What's happening with your daughter this week?
She visited doctor office last week, but her fever is still going.
Okay, so she still has a fever.
Yeah, around over 100 degree.
Okay.
So I have no idea. I tried to took a shower and then I tried to give medicine Tylenol, and then she tried to eat icy thing.
Cold thing.
Yeah, cold thing, but still fever not going down.
So her fever hasn't gone down. How is she feeling otherwise? Is she?
I think she is still so weak.
She's
She
still
just
weak.
laid down on the bed. She doesn't want to eat much. And yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like there's really two things you want to emphasize when you talk to the doctor, that she still has a fever and that she's weak.
Yeah.
So why don't we make a list with those things?
Okay. So first, she has fever. I think she still have fever. And then she is weak. And then,
Not hungry.
yeah, not hungry, right? Not hungry. So, how can I do?
Okay, so you'll want to tell the doctor those things. And then, what do you need to know?
Yeah.
What should you do?
What should I do? And does she need to go to doctor office maybe?
Does she need to go back to the doctor?
Does she need to back to the doctor? And then yeah, so what should I do now, I think?
Okay, so we have a list of things to tell the doctor and some questions to ask the doctor.
Yeah.
But you know, when you call, you probably won't be able to talk to the doctor right away, and you probably first will have to leave a message.
Okay.
So let's practice that so that you can be comfortable just saying the things you need to say and saying it crisply and quickly and not worrying too much about it.
Okay.
So you're going to identify yourself and you're going to identify your daughter. Say, this is about Sarah.
Okay.
And then you're going to tell her these things. So let's just practice. Pretend that you've called and you're leaving a message.
Okay. Hi, Dr. Brown. This is Sarah's mom. Sarah still has fever. She is weak. She is not hungry. What should I do now? Does she need to back to the doctor office? I think I have say something
Say,
more.
please
right?
call me.
Please call me.
Yeah.
Then is a phone number maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think that went really well, very smoothly and clearly. So let's just rehearse one more time,
Yeah.
and at the end we'll give you your phone number.
Okay.
Okay, let's try again.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Brown. This is Sarah's mom. She still has fever. She is weak. She is not hungry. What should I do now? Does she need to back to the doctor office? Please call me. My phone number is 510-555-9751.
That's very good, and that'll be very clear, and that should get you a good answer. I want to suggest one thing that we might want to change. This doesn't have to be grammatically perfect. It just needs to communicate.
Okay.
But I think it might be clearer if you said, does she need to go back to the doctor's office? Put that verb in there. Need to go.
Need to go back.
Need to go. Yeah, you're right. That's where it goes. That's correct. Back to the doctor's office. So you want to try it one more time with that?
Yeah. Hello, Dr. Brown. I'm Sarah's mom. She still has fever. She's weak. She's not hungry. What should I do now? Does she need to go back to the doctor's office? Please call me. My phone number is 510-555-9751. Thank you.
Excellent. That's very, very good. So I think you're ready to actually make the phone call. Before we go on to that, let's just talk about what we've done here.
Okay.
Was it helpful for you to go through and make a list of the things you wanted to say?
Yeah. Yes, of course. Yeah. When I calling doctor and then they already automatically answering machine something, and then after when I start to record, I freeze. I forget everything. I mess up, so I recording again. So yeah, every
So
time.
writing it down is helpful.
Yes.
How about practicing it?
Practicing is good too. Yes.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
I hope that you get the information that you need, and I'll look forward next week to
Yeah.
hearing how that goes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've seen a tutor and learner work on a real-life writing activity that arose directly from a need in the learner's life. As a warm-up to writing down the topics the learner wanted to cover, the tutor and learner talked about the reason for the call to get ideas flowing. Together, they drafted and then revised the message, and the learner read it aloud to identify needed improvements. Finally, the learner confirmed that drafting a script and then practicing it was an effective method to prepare for a successful phone call.
Okay. What were your impressions? What struck you?
The first thing that struck me was I was a little concerned that the mom was not going to communicate clearly enough who she was. She never used her name or a last name, and I was worried. I was worried that the receptionist or whoever is at the other end is going to wonder, who is this call from? I see the phone number, but I hear the word Sarah, but I've got lots of Sarahs in my practice here. Like, who is this?
That is such a good point. And you know what? When you're making a project like this, honestly, every time we see a video, something, strikes us as like, oops, wish we had caught that when we were, juggling 100 balls. So,
Right.
point well taken. And so, yeah, that is of course something that we should have addressed. And isn't that hilarious that we, all of us in the room missed it? So
At the time, we're all guilty of that for one time or another, right?
it is so true. So yeah, and again, that's just something. If I were using this, I would say, oh my gosh, what's missing, right? And use that as a teaching point. So thank you for pointing that out. David, your hand is raised.
Yes, it is. Well, first of all, Kathy, I want to say thank you. I'm very excited about this. As you know, I'm a big fan of Partners in Reading videos that have been around for some time and been very useful, I think, to tutors. What struck me is, and I should say struck me in a very positive way, is that this is an example of a tutor who very successfully integrates writing, reading, speaking, and listening in the context of a learner's authentic oral task that can benefit from writing. And, earlier you mentioned that many learners don't really understand why writing is important in their lives. This is a great example of how important writing can be in their lives. So,
well, thank you. And this learner happened to be an English language learner, but I don't know how many times I've called my doctor, and after I hang up, I think, oh shoot, I forgot to ask this, or I forgot to say this. So it's also, for native English speakers as well. So but thank you, David. That means a lot. I know that you are, and you may have noticed that I took your advice about previewing videos and focused folks' attention. That's a David Rosen strategy. So before you show a video, always ask people to be looking for certain items as they're watching. So hats off to David for that. Thank you. All right, what about Helene?
Hi. That was a really good video. It's funny because my tutor is also Chinese American. So the woman kind of really reminded me of her. So sweet. My tutor is so sweet. And the problem with go back to the doctor, she has problems with that too. She would have said also back to back doctor, however she said it originally. They have a lot of trouble with those. I don't know what those words are called. Those little, they're not interjections.
Phrasal verbs are tricky. Yeah.
Phrasal, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it is tricky, and no matter, we've been doing this for years now. She still has difficulty putting that in there. But what I wanted to say, first of all, I thought it was really good. I thought it was important that you did not on the video actually include her phone number. Like that to me was like, ugh, oh, she doesn't get any like weird phone calls.
Right. That's the videographer's trick. Evidently, there is some phone number that filmmakers and videographers always use, and it's not it.
So it's not her actual number.
Doesn't go to anybody.
Oh, so. Perfect. Okay. And I did notice I'm not sure what his name was, the first person that responded about she didn't say her name, and she didn't spell anything, which also for me is like my name is kind of difficult, and I always have to spell it, and especially more of a, not standard American name. She needed to spell it. And also the other thing, I guess, getting really nitpicky here, is that she should have said her phone number at the beginning. I mean, I don't work now, but when people give me like a long voicemail, I'm like, can you just get to the phone number? So, but
all good points. And again, you
Yeah.
know, what we hope will happen with these videos is that you will use them as a jumping off point. And you know, I'm sure each video has something that should be or could be done differently. And I have to tell you that when you are part of the videoing is utter chaos. And as you can imagine, the learners and the tutors are
They're
so
kind of nervous.
You might have noticed that her arm, the tutor was keeping her notes under her arm, and she kept, you know, peeking because she was terrified that she was going to forget. So at some point, as the video team, you have to make a decision. If you keep stopping them and saying,
I
oops,
agree.
you forgot to spell, oops, you know, then
so good point.
Yeah.
Good point. But they were really sweet. The tutor was really sweet. And again, the tutor kind of reminded me of me and then my learner. I guess I was saying it wrong before. So yeah, they were really cute and really good rapport. And I did hear the grammatical error and I thought, well, she's just going to skip it. But I thought it's kind of important.
And she came back to it, right?
Yeah.
In good time.
It was really good. And like you said, good information for me when I'm calling to write it down. So anyways, I won't take up any more time with my blah, blah, blah.
Thank you, Helene.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for doing it.
Oh, thank you so much. I think we have B first and then Joan, and then we probably need to move along, and we'll have questions and comments at the end as well. B.
Hi, yeah, I really wanted to comment that I enjoyed it. It was so realistic. That's usually what happens. And a lot of times you don't think of these things at the moment because you're trying to help the student. And so you miss things. But at the same time, I like their interaction. I did enjoy that she was writing everything down, and the ability to write down something, especially from a culture that don't have the Roman, you know, the letters. And so it was wonderful to watch. I enjoyed it. It was realistic to me.
Oh, good. Good. Thank you for sharing that, B. Appreciate it. And Joan.
There I am. I wanted to comment that I like the process of it, especially as she got to the point where she had finished her draft and was reading it aloud and corrected. She said, oh, I think I should add, so whatever it was she wanted to add. So that was a great way to just see the process where she was really involved and understanding what she was doing and took ownership of it. So it was great. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is something that you'll see in many of the videos. One strategy is if the learner reads out loud what they wrote, quite often they are able to identify and then correct their own mistakes, because your ear catches what your eye doesn't many times. So thank you. And then let's see if there's anything in the Christine. In the chat box. When you make it practical to something they need to actually do, it's easier for the learner to do. Since they need to do it in their real life, they're more likely to be willing to learn it. It's useful. Absolutely, Christine. That is, it is especially for reluctant writers. And not only, I've worked with resistant, downright, you know, I don't want to do this. And that makes a big difference. And then Rocio says, I think the idea of writing down what you want to say works great for English learners, as they will feel better prepared as they make that phone call. Yep, it's very true. And David had asked, you know, do you try to integrate reading and writing? Absolutely. And listening and speaking as well. So, all right. Well, I think we're going to go back right now, and then we'll have time for questions and comments later. So thank you. I really appreciate those comments and those questions. All right. So what if you are teaching virtually? I know that during the bad old days of the pandemic, that many of us switched to virtual tutoring and teaching. I personally feel like we're not going to go back to, I am now teaching a beginning class by Zoom. And it's the first time that Partners in Reading, the library in San Jose, California, ever offered a night class. And the reason that they were able to do that for the first time is because it's virtual. I also am teaching a sort of hybrid beginning level class. So most of the time we're in the classroom, but tomorrow, for example, the room that we use is a multi-purpose room. And I just got a message from the school where I teach saying, hey, we need your room. Can you teach by Zoom tomorrow morning? And I said, sure. So, this is, I think, the new reality. And I think there are some really great benefits of online teaching. And so, it's certainly, you need to figure out what your technology is, what your learner's technology is. There is no one size fits all answer. I have to be very creative with my students. My students all have varying degrees of skill and equipment. And quite often they teach each other because they are the better teachers, because I don't use a phone to Zoom. I don't use the phone to teach. And so they help each other. So you can, do all kinds of things. You can take photos of something and text it to them or email it to them. You can share your screen or not. You can actually email or send hard copies of things. So you can figure this out. You can ask, all the strategies that you see in the videos are absolutely adaptable for online learning. Okay, so how can programs use these videos? So certainly, and this is something that I have been doing for years, especially with the reading videos that we mentioned pre-COVID, in pre-service trainings. And so prospective instructors, either teachers or tutors, before they came to an in-person training, they might watch a video before, and then instead of everybody sitting there like we did today, right, spending 12 minutes together of precious time where we could be interacting, if you ask the people to watch the video at home, and then you come and talk about it during the pre-service training, then they're all revved up and you can have a really great, meaningful discussion about that strategy in the time that you have together. And then, and that's as you're training people to be instructors. And then once they're in your program, and you might want to highlight, I know that Karen Masada is here from Reed Santa Clara, and this is something that they have done in their program. They will pick a particular strategy and they'll ask their tutors to watch it, and then they'll come together and they will have an in-service training discussing that strategy. And then I think they actually ask the tutors to go back and practice and then come back and talk about how did that go for you. You can always also use the videos to meet learner-specific needs. And so if you know that a learner is struggling with a particular writing task, maybe it's getting words down on the page, or maybe it's, just not being able to write with the same cogency as the learner speaks. You can, as a staff person, direct instructors to a specific strategy and say, why don't you use this? Maybe it'll give you an idea. And then the other thing that actually we never anticipated, and this came up during a webinar just like this, was that one of the participants said, I want to show my learner these videos, because then they can see how the strategy works, right? And just as it's instructive for me as the instructor, it would be helpful for my learner. And of course, we all thought, how could we not have noticed that or, been advocating for that? Because as experienced adult literacy and ESOL folks, we know that part of our task is actually teaching learners how to learn, not just specific skills, but actually how do you become an effective learner? And so these videos can be very helpful if learners watch other learners learn. All right. And so, yeah. So how can programs use the videos virtually and in person? And I think I already said this. So yeah, so it makes sense to me. I mean, sometimes you want to watch the videos together and discuss them right then. But as a time saver, it's very helpful to have people watch them on their own. And quite often in virtual trainings, you can have your instructors watch several different videos and then discuss them in a series of virtual trainings. Okay, so in breakout rooms, let's Zara, how many folks do we have at this point? We're going to do I think 4 people in each breakout room. And so we're going to have, let me do a little time check here.
We have 47 people, so we're gonna have a couple rooms, I think 2 that have a couple less, maybe 3 each.
Okay, that's terrific. So yeah, so we're gonna have you discuss for about 7 minutes. How can you use these videos in your program? And so I'm going to stop sharing. And so, yeah, so Zara's going to put you in breakout rooms and you're going to discuss how do you think you and your program can use the videos, and then we'll come back and we'll do a report out. Okay, so it's going to take a little bit of time for Zara to set up the breakout rooms. Okay, May Shields, and I don't, May, don't worry about it. I think Zara is just going to use the automatic thing, and it's okay if you need to leave early. We understand. Okay. And let's see, virtual makes so convenient for busy schedules. Absolutely. My learners who have childcare issues, transportation issues, work issues, absolutely. The virtual has been a godsend to them. And David says, those of you who find authentic adult literacy or English language classroom or tutoring videos of interest, oh, you may be interested in the, yes, thank you, David. David hosts an amazing website called Media Library of Teaching Skills. So I would highly recommend that. All kinds of amazing resources. So, your videographer colleague, Owen Hartford. Excellent. Thank you to the reading videos. Thank you. All right.
I'm getting ready to open.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make
All
sure
right.
about it.
Thank you, Zara.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize it was 1 o'clock Eastern time. So can you email me or something?
Oh, sure. What would you like us to email you?
Or just the major points of what I missed, because I missed just the time.
Sure. I think that Zara is going to, are you going to make a PDF of the PowerPoint and send that to folks? Yeah. Yeah. So she'll send that out after the webinar. All right. Are you guys going to join a breakout room, or do you want to discuss with the 2 of you right here, or what would you like to do?
I can put them in a room.
Okay.
We have a couple.
I think they have to join though. They have to click on join. Do you guys know how to do that?
Well, I can automatically move them, I think, for some reason.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought they had to join. Great.
Okay.
Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. And I have a huge apology because I had no idea that my slides were not showing. the entire time. So there are actually slides that go with this presentation, and Zara will be sending them out to you after the webinar as a PDF. And so I just thought my Zoom is behaving so bizarrely. I do not know why. And I am like trying not to be flustered because this is not the normal view and I can't see anything. And come to find out that that is because my slides weren't showing. So I apologize, everybody, especially if you are not an auditory learner, if you're a visual learner. So please know there are slides and you will be getting them. So you are very, very nice, gracious people for not saying, hey, where are the slides? And Sydney, do you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I do. I've used Zoom weekly with my classes, and I've had difficulties with slide sharing in the past couple of weeks, and I'm in the process of debugging it. So you're not alone.
Oh, thank you. Because I'm like, I only do this like how many times a week, and so thank you, Sydney.
And if you're ever caught in a session where you don't see the slides from somebody else, speak out, let them know.
So thank you. My Zoom
has problem with the Zoom system. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I'm working.
Thank you. Because I now have apps on the side. I'm like, I don't want apps on my Zoom. David, do you have? David is like Mr. Technology. So,
well, this is going to be counterintuitive. I actually prefer presentations like yours without slides. Of course, I'm glad to get the slides afterwards. I'm a visual learner as well as an oral learner, but I find it really refreshing not to have slides, that I'm listening better without slides.
Oh, terrific.
So think about doing this again.
All right. Well, David is always so positive, encouraging, honestly, really. And, I have to say, I went through this whole thing where I was doing in-person workshops and everybody expected a PowerPoint. And I was like, no, I'm here and we're here together. We do not need a PowerPoint. We're just gonna, So anyway, thank you for being gracious. And so we have about 5 minutes. Would anybody like to share either something that you talked about in your breakout room, or any questions or comments or epiphanies? Please, this is your 5 minutes.
Well, I'll share one thing. What I've found is that since our field is largely people who work part-time, and this is of course true of most tutors, is that professional development is always a challenge, and bringing them together in person is a challenge, other than the initial training, of course. And so programs struggle with how can we do this, and how can we do this in a way that is efficient and that is meeting the tutor's needs. And so the whole idea of doing a short asynchronous training, let's say pick one video, one writing video, and do it, ask them to watch it on their own time, and then either have a threaded discussion or an in-person discussion, or both, of maybe 20 minutes, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And I think that many tutors could do that and would want to do that, rather than travel to a in-person session, spend 2 hours. They tend not to have the time to do that, or the interest.
That's such a good point. And Karen Masada, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I think that you've done quite a bit with the reading and writing videos, if I'm not mistaken. Would you be able to, what is your model? Would you be able to share your model?
Sure. Thank you, Kathy. And the videos are fantastic. And we have some of the tutors in our group that have been joining us for bi-monthly meetings where we introduce a new strategy. We do send out the link in advance so that people can preview the videos. but then we do sort of distill to maybe 3 to 5 minute clip for those people that haven't had a chance to watch it in advance. We discuss this strategy and how we can see us using it in our own particular context. And then during the month and a half that we aren't meeting, we try to really use the strategies with our learners, and then we come back and report back out and then learn about a new strategy. But boy, they are just so fantastic. And I was sharing with our breakout room that, you know, in order to prep the clips and things like that, I watched the video a couple of times, and each time I just learned so much. And just the text captions on the bottom as the videos are playing are so helpful, as well as the end sort of review notes that also help explain how you can use it with different level learners and different background learners. So Kathy, you and your team just did a fantastic job. And I just am excited to also try to use them now that you mentioned it, maybe directly with learners. So be looking at good ways to do that as well. So if you haven't seen the videos, they're all just so well done that just any place is a good starting place.
Oh, thank you, Karen. And Karen was actually involved with the reading videos. So half of the reading videos were filmed in Santa Clara. And Karen was highly involved in that. So we tried to use lessons learned from the reading project in the writing project. So thank you, Karen. David.
Kathy, could you post a link to the videos before we leave? In the chat, maybe?
Yeah, and Zara, are you able to do that? We have so one of the handouts that you'll be getting gives you access to both the reading and the writing videos. But Zara, you're able to go into that handout maybe just quickly and post it into the chat. Oh, you're muted, Zara.
I can't post the whole handout right now. It's not in URL format yet, but I'll be sending it right after this with the.
Okay, sorry, David, but yeah, you'll get it immediately. So the reading videos are it's the same voiceover artist, different videographers, but the same format, the same ideas. So and we did have English language learners and native English speakers. So thank you, Kay. All right. I know we're out of time. I'm happy to stay longer. I'm sure Zara is, but any other questions, comments before we go?
So for those of us who haven't started yet, do you know when we're actually going to work with someone?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see who I can't see who was that.
Emily.
Emily, where are you? What program are you in? Are you in California or Florida?
I'm in actually Oklahoma.
You're in Oklahoma. Okay. So you would need to talk with your program coordinator. And I don't know who that is. I don't know if she's on today. If you are Oklahoma program coordinator, you know, please let Emily know. But that, you know, every program's different. It just depends. I don't know if you've been through a tutor training yet, or you know, when you'll be matched. So, all right. Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, I thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope that you are able to use the videos and find them useful. And do please check out David's website. And for those of you in Florida, there is the adult learner essay book is coming up, and the deadline for your learner to submit their writings is Valentine's Day, Tuesday, February 14th. So this is just, I know there isn't much time, but it's only what, Zara, 400 and some words?
475, yeah.
Yeah, and so this is a great opportunity if you're in Florida for you to put your these strategies into action and to get some of there is nothing more powerful than adult learner writings. They, you know, they're every time I read them, it just makes my heart sing, and the Kleenex comes out. So please take advantage of this opportunity. Zara put the link in the chat box. So
the link will send you to all the information on our website, and then below that you can find the link to submit the essays. And before you all leave, I also want to remind you that there is a survey to fill out. That's also in the chat. If you could please do that before you go.
thank you, everybody. So nice to see you.
Kathy, thank you so much. Outstanding job.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Take care.
This is great.
Thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So nice. There's somebody from Oklahoma. B, are you also from Oklahoma? That's great.
Yes, I am actually from Altus, Oklahoma. And we're from Great Plains Literacy Council. Yeah.
I wondered what GPLC. I was like, what's the GP? I wondered.
Great Plains. We're in the Great Plains in the Midwest. Yes.
Wow. That is so cool. So Florida Literacy Coalition shares their information.
Yes. And we're very grateful. We are truly grateful because we get so much wonderful information. So thank you.
I know. They are just, they're very generous with their research.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So guys, have a great day.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Oh, bye. And look, you're driving. You're multitasking.
I'm still driving. I was listening. Can be possible to have the information by mail?
By email?
Yes.
Yes, Zara will be sending out the handouts, and that will have descriptions of each of the videos and how to access the videos.
Okay,
and
good.
A PDF of the slides. And what else are you sending out, Zara? Information about the book? Your book?
Yes. It is possible. Yeah, I would like to.
I'll send the link to the essay book as well.
Thank you, because I'm driving. I cannot get the information right now.
Yeah, don't do that.
I know. Thank you so much. I'm in New Jersey.
You're in New Jersey.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Where in New Jersey?
We are in Toms River. We are in Ocean County.
Oh, okay. Well, this is, I didn't know. I thought it was just California and Florida. So this is really great. New Jersey and Oklahoma. And John, where are you from?
Oklahoma.
You're from Oklahoma too. And did I hear that your daughter is the program director?
Yes, for the Midwest City Public Library. She's connected with that. And
that is terrific.
Yeah, and as a new tutor still in training, I find the videos very enlightening, a good resource for information that tutors, regardless of how long they've been in the program, could use them. But for me, again, very enlightening, great resource. You guys did a good job. I managed to get in. I didn't get in right at the beginning of the presentation, but I got in probably 15 or 20 minutes after.
Good.
But I still got some valuable information. And Karen Masada, she was a fantastic person. I really enjoyed the breakout room being in with her. She was so full of exuberance, and she was exciting.
Karen
motivated me even.
We worked together. I used to be at Reed Santa Clara. We worked together, and she's one of my closest friends, and I love her to pieces. She is the very best. So
yeah, I wish I could get her email or something so I can, just keep in contact with her, because she's quite inspirational. I really enjoyed her.
Oh, great. Well, if you, I don't know, Zara, if you include my email, I normally, I normally do. Let's see. Let me see if I have it in. It's usually on the last slide. Oh, I guess I didn't.
You can add it in real quick before you and resend it to me.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you write to me, John, I can connect you. I'm sure she'd love that.
Okay, very good. I appreciate it.
All
And
right.
again, I appreciate you guys' efforts and much success to you. You take care.
You take care too. You're gonna make a great tutor, I can tell.
Thank you. You're so kind.
I have a gut instinct. Would anybody else like to share or ask anything or comment before we say goodbye? I'm just looking in the chat
Have you done
box.
anything in the chat recently?
Okay. I think. Oh, good. Good. All right. Rocio, Melissa, maybe they've taken a time out and they just haven't left yet. Opal?
Yes, I'm here.
Would you like to ask anything or say anything?
Well, I just appreciated all you talked about and everything, and I really think it was great. I'm
I'm
sure
so
I'm going to
glad.
be able to use it.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
And where are you from, Opal?
Well, I'm in Florida right now, but I'm from all over.
Oh, all right. Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Good. And Rocio is just listening. And that's all right. It's always good to just listen. And how about you, Melissa? Okay. Well, I think if nobody else has any questions or comments, I think we'll say good afternoon.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you all for joining.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, good. I'm glad it was interesting. Very good. All right, Zara, thank you for all your support, and I will add my email into that, and I'll send it to you again.
Okay, perfect. It was so
All right.
nice to meet you, Kathy.
Nice to meet you too. I hope we can work together again.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
All right, take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. And I have a huge apology because I had no idea that my slides were not showing the entire time. So there are actually slides that go with this presentation. And Zara will be sending them out to you after the webinar as a PDF. And so I just thought my Zoom is behaving so bizarrely. I do not know why. And I am like trying not to be flustered because this is not the normal view and I can't see anything. And come to find out that that is because my slides weren't showing. So I apologize, everybody, especially if you are not an auditory learner, if you're a visual learner. So please know there are slides and you will be getting them. So you are very, very nice, gracious people for not saying, hey, where are the slides? And Sydney, do you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I do. I've used Zoom weekly with my classes, and I've had difficulties with slide sharing in the past couple of weeks, and I'm in the process of debugging it. So you're not alone.
Oh, thank you. Because I'm like, I only do this like how many times a week. And so thank you. Thank you, Sydney.
And if you're ever caught in a session where you don't see the slides from somebody else, speak out, let them know.
So thank you. My Zoom is
problem with the Zoom system. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I'm working
thank you. Because I now have apps on the side. I'm like, I don't want apps on my Zoom. David, do you have? David is like Mr. Technology. So
Well, this is going to be counterintuitive. I actually prefer presentation